Today on the Art of Struggle, I talked about Nintendo and how they're showcasing their new Labo games with Toy-Con. They had a contest and they had some pretty cool entries. There was a guy who made a game like I think it's Dinner Dash, and he pretty much made that out of little teapots. So that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else happened on the podcast today. Okay, Able Gamers donated $10,000 worth of accessible games to a local hospital. That was pretty dope, and I think it's total like 100,000 this year, which is really good for any of those people or any of those able gamers out there who still enjoy. And then I think they also gave them, not I think, I know that they're giving them access to the Halo championships that are going on in New Orleans, which is pretty dope. It seems over half of UK parents let their children play 18 and up rated games. The funny thing is, they will check the movies, like they'll check if their kids are going to R-rated movies, but they don't really bother to check if they're playing R-rated games. And I don't know how I feel about this because I don't think my parents ever really checked me playing games or anything. Like, I think once I got to like a certain age or once I got to a certain level in high school, like, and they weren't really into games and anyway, so like there wasn't really anything to monitor. I mean, I played in my room, but they didn't even know what I played because I bought it myself and everything like that. So I don't know, I think if your kid's playing GTA, which a lot of them are, like they're playing it at like 10 or 8 or something, and they have like the foulest mouths. But I think that is nuts. Just because, like, yo, if I was 10 playing GTA, I would be ruthless. I already am, but I'd be ruthless. What else? Let's see. I think that was it. I had some interesting quotes. Pretend like I said something fancy. And that's pretty much it for that. So, as everybody probably knows, I work in virtual reality and augmented reality and pretty much making interactive experiences. It's a really cool field because it's always challenging, like, because the medium is still like it's getting a resurgence, that like everybody's got a dope idea, everybody's got something cool that they want to try out in VR or they want to try out in AR. And I think it's important to recognize those hot markets where avenues exist to kind of spread your wings, man. VR and AR is cool right now. I've been learning a lot in the sense of being an artist. So my struggle is daily because every day there's something new to learn. There's always new tech. There's always new shaders, new scripts, new versions of the software you're using. And with the way companies are going right now, where they release something like every other day, like it's like a 6-month cycle, and there's like another point or another update with hot fixes and stuff. And I haven't decided if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because there was a time when people released software, that was it. Like when I released my program to you, that's what you get. When people released games, it wasn't beta, it wasn't pre-release. I don't even know what that means. If it's already out, it's out. Like just call it. But yeah, there was a time when that was not the case. So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's interesting now that every 6 months there's a new version on your phone. There's a new iOS out that you gotta get download. There's a new, so I think the faster we want stuff to happen and the more fixes and stuff that happens, I think it's something that we're going to have to live with for a while. You know, people want their stuff now, immediately, instantly, to get it. So, yeah, that's the industry. That's the industry we're in. It's exciting if you're in it, but it's got to be frustrating if you're not like a tech person. I guarantee for some tech people, it's probably a little frustrating. But it's just interesting how often everything has a hot fix or a change, or So that's that. I'm just trying to riff in it. So this is just a breakdown of the day. I work in Substance Designer, Substance Painter, Unreal Engine, 3ds Max a little bit. I do a lot more. I do a lot more in other software, but not as much as those four right now. That is what my job has consisted mostly of, which is interesting because that was not where I was headed, but I enjoy it. I like it. It's a challenge, getting to, it's like you're going, I don't know if it's anybody else, but on a production sometimes on like a project, I'm like, oh shit, until it comes out and I'm like, oh shit, it's done. I don't know if anybody else ever on production always has that feeling. Like, because if you know like the due date and like how much anything can go wrong, like if you work in game production or CG or TV or anything like that, what I've realized is what can like anything that can go wrong will probably go wrong. So plan for that, because if you don't, you're going to be left looking stupid and without a project to deliver. And if you can plan for that, then you'd be a lot better off in the long run. For real. Yeah, it's very interesting. A lot of late nights, which is fun. But I always have my, art stuff that I do on the side that I try to get to, And when I first got in the industry, I used to kind of think about like all the older guys who were like, man, when I get home, I can't do or and I'm like, man, like I want, like when I get home, I got so much more energy, and I'm like, man, this is, I got to do my stuff, I don't know. Different people. But it's interesting. It's a very interesting industry to be in. There are a lot of people in the industry that once they get in, like, I think it's such a dream for a lot of people to get into like the game industry and the interactive industry, to be the ones, making those big games. Like if you work at Disney, it's like, working at Disney, working at Blizzard, the big named companies. And I think people fantasize about those so much that, that when you hear crazy stories about what goes on in the industry, sometimes you're like, holy crap, that's the hours. But I think it's just the dedication, as long as you're, whoever you're working for is compensating you accordingly and you love what you do, then it doesn't matter. Like if I love a project, I'm willing to stay for however long it takes to get it done, because that passion almost pushes you through, it'll give you the energy to continue it, so hats off to a lot of those guys, so yeah, I think this is going to be it for today. I had a 10-minute little rant about, I gave you the breakdown of what happened on The Art of Struggle today. If you want, you can follow my podcast, theartofstruggle.com. It's on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much anywhere you get your podcast, Pocket Cast, Anchor, Oh man, I can't even think of all of them. It's on a bunch of different places, but check out the podcast whenever you get a chance. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. That's another one. Do all of those, and you can link up. You can leave a comment below if you want. If you don't, type, hey, what up? Ask me a question about something. If you want to learn something. If you want me to, go into a topic, I'm more than willing to. I just want to remind you that keep on struggling, because if you don't struggle, then you aren't. When I say struggle, I don't mean like physical struggle. Before everybody like jumps down, you gotta no. You know, like some people it's easier for others, but for me, let me explain the art of struggle thing, because it's gonna get misconstrued if I don't. For me, I've had to struggle for my art. I wasn't naturally talented at it. I've always wanted to do it, but I necessarily wasn't very good at it. A lot of other kids were good at it. Like there were other, I've always wanted to draw, and I've always drawn ever since I was a little kid. You can ask my parents. But I wasn't always good at it. And what I found was that even though there were a lot of kids more talented than me, if I was working my ass off, I could compete with them. I could do something that I could be like, yeah, that looks cool. That looks badass. So I think that was my struggle, is that I had to realize who I was, how I worked, and then I had to tailor my education to that. So that's my struggle. And my struggle is ongoing. Every single day, every single hour, thinking about how I can be better at what I do to get to the next level. So that's my struggle. So that's why I always say, whatever your struggle is, whether it's dancing, singing, programming, writing, drawing, painting, sculpting, whatever that thing you're trying to struggle with is, the life you want is on the other side of that struggle. So you just have to get yourself through it, keep working at it, because not all of us are born naturally talented. I'm not, just saying. But I believe if I work really, really hard, that I can make whatever I dream about happen. And I've done it for the most part. So I want to remind you to keep on struggling. Keep on struggling. All right, that's it for today's episode of The Art of Struggle. My name is Ty, and I'm signing out. Namaste.